Is this working? Hello, hello, hello. Oh, hey, Dan. I think it's recording now. I just watched your video. The one you did this morning, so this would be Sunday morning in response to mine. It is, I guess, 8:45 here in Minnesota on Sunday. And Beth and I, oh, there she is, and I are watching, I don't know if you can see that, but we're watching the fourth game of the World Series between St. Louis and Texas. Texas is currently winning into the fifth inning, 1-0. And, but I thought I would respond to the hunting portion of your video, and then I can talk about everything else in some other video. I think your first comment was about the shotgun. Why not use a rifle? I think you're right. They do use rifles in out in the Pacific Northwest, but I don't know when the regulation came about. But there is, for deer hunting season in Minnesota, and I think Wisconsin as well, there is muzzle loaders, shotguns, bow hunting, and that's it. So there's no rifles allowed. I don't know why. You can also hunt with a handgun if you are so inclined. Bow hunting is a separate season, muzzle loading is a separate season, and then shotgun, handgun is a separate season. And I don't know, again, I don't know if it's a range issue. A shotgun, you're shooting slugs, and you're right, it is much harder to kill a deer with a shotgun. There's no no scopes, though not that a scope's really going to help you much in a shotgun like it would a rifle. But you're really, your top range of being accurate is probably 50 to 75 yards. Above that, you're kind of lucky if you actually get it. Excuse me. So it's so you're going to use a 12 gauge shotgun with a slug. Again, I'm not sure why or how that came about, but one of the guys that I'm hunting with is a game officer in Wisconsin, so I will ask him because I bet he knows, and I will dutifully report back to you. So, that being said, the next question about hunter safety. Hunter safety, oddly enough, is only required if you are under the age, I think, of 14. It's not even like under 18. It's below like 14 or something. Obviously, the biggest issue is how do you keep from shooting someone else or yourself. For me, I am pretty comfortable with guns. Obviously, I spent 7 years having firearm safety pounded into me, and it's just habitual. I mean, it's the number of times we pulled our guns out when we're on duty. Every single time you're thinking firearm safety, keeping your finger outside the trigger lock. There were no safeties on the Glocks we carried, but on these shotguns there will be, of course. So you keep the safety off, you keep your finger outside the trigger guard until you're on target, ready to shoot. You're always aware of what's downrange. All guns are always loaded. You keep in mind of, if there's a laser, imagining a laser outside the end of your barrel, and that is, no matter what your barrel crosses, you're going to shoot. So, keeping those things in mind. So I'm fairly comfortable with hunter safety in terms of firearm safety. Now, how do you keep from shooting somebody else? Well, I've read through I've read through a lot of the regulations, and I understand, okay, what blaze orange you have to wear. But still the question becomes, how do I, how do I keep from shooting somebody else? Well, I'm hunting with a group of 5 or 6 other men, and we are hunting on a private piece of property, and everybody knows where everybody else is going to be, relatively speaking. So, and you keep in contact. Everybody gets into their spots half an hour before sunrise, or like an hour before sunrise, because you can actually legally shoot a half an hour before and a half an hour after sunrise, anywhere in that, 14-hour period or 12-hour period, depending on the season, or I guess maybe even 10-hour period. What?
Half an hour before sunrise and a half an hour
after sunset. Thank you. Not after sunrise. Half an hour after sunset. So it's 10 hours you can shoot. So anyway, we'll all get in a position, and so I mean they communicate pretty well as to who's doing, who's going to be where. So it's, I think most of hunter safety is fairly common sense. Don't drink, don't smoke weed, don't walk around with your gun off safety. Don't run with your shotgun. Don't try to hold onto the barrel of your shotgun and hit the deer on the head with the stock in order to keep from putting a hole in it. So don't do any of that. Anyway, I actually thought about bringing my camera out, and I think I might, but I think I'm going to be really conservative in what video I shoot, because I don't know any of these guys. I know one of them a little bit. So I don't want to offend anybody, and frankly, I consider, I thought about with the gutting of the deer, how do you, could I shoot some video on that? But honestly, I consider that a bit of a, I don't want to say spiritual exercise, but it's, I don't feel like just being a butcher, you know what I mean?
No.
Especially if it'll be my first time getting a deer, and yeah, I'm going to have to gut it right there. But it's a, at least I can be reverential about it. For me, I'm not hunting just for the sake of going out and hunting and shooting something. But because I want to put deer meat in the freezer. That's my point. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'm happy to be a part of my own, food acquisition in that respect.
Why don't you go hunt a cow?
So Beth wants me to go hunt a cow. Unfortunately, that's considered rustling, and I would get arrested. So,
hunt a pig.
Deer rustling is perfectly legal. Beth would also like me to hunt a pig, and I don't know if there's any wild pig. There's got to be wild pig in Minnesota. There's wild pig everywhere. So, anyway, but I find hunting pigs such a bore. That's not that funny. Get it, bore?
Yeah, I got it.
She got
I
it.
chose to ignore it because I thought it was pretty late.
Turkey hunting would be nice, but I'm not sure you'd like the taste of wild turkey.
I've heard it's not good.
Yeah, so,
not like what you'd expect turkey to taste.
But apparently the deer around here taste pretty good. So I'm actually looking forward to having a deer roast for Thanksgiving. I think that would be kind of cool. So anyway, it's 2 weeks from yesterday is when opening day is, that first weekend in November. So it's, I'm not sure how I'm sure I'm going to have mixed feelings about it. I'm sure that when I don't mind the part about going out and sitting in the cold. It's going to be cold, but it's not going to be bad. But just going out and sitting in a peaceful area and you're just waiting for a poor defenseless deer to come by so you can blow its brains out. That somewhat appeals to me. And but no, really, it's I think that we'll see. We'll see how I feel when that first deer walks up, and
You said you were the one you're gonna kill me.
right, and I'm on target, and I'm ready to pull that trigger. How I feel, is the adrenaline going to be coursing through my body? I don't know. So I know how I felt when I had a handgun on somebody. I didn't enjoy that much. So we'll see what it's like when it's game instead of a mouth breather. So anyway, that's my anything else to say? I'm going to actually borrow a shotgun. Good news, Beth, I found somebody who will lend me a shotgun. Glenn has 2 shotguns he will lend me. So he's going to lend me a shotgun, so that will really minimize the cost of what I'm having to do.
You mean you were going to have to buy a shotgun?
Well, I was going to avoid buying a shotgun. So
I would skip the hunting.
I know enough people. So anyway, I'm gonna borrow Glenn's shotgun and give him some deer jerky or something, deer giblets and deer testicles or something if I get a buck maybe. Anyway,
Aren't those called deer oysters?
deer oysters, yeah. We call them Minnesota Bluff oysters. So anyway, speaking of Glenn, we swam today. The water was 56.2 degrees, and that was the coldest I've swam in the distance we swam today. It was pretty cold going in, but I started doing what's called Tarzan, where you swim with your head out of the water, which is not that hard with a wetsuit. And then I slowly worked my face into the water and got to where it was freaking cold, but it was really. I could swim. The great thing I love about cold water is I can swim really hard without getting overheated. And I don't feel I get winded in the same way that I do in warmer water. It's kind of interesting. And I just felt so relaxed and just so good in that water. And Kurt and Boris swim without wetsuits. And I think that was about their limit today at 56 degrees. It's pretty darn cold. And you just really have to swim fast in order to keep that core temperature up and minimize any wading or any treading water, any of that kind of stuff. So I swam about a mile today, I guess, all told. But I've been sick, but I just felt like today was, I finally felt good enough, which was great. This is why I've been laying off swimming so much this week, because I was hoping I would feel good coming into today, because I really wanted to swim outdoors. So there were 6 of us, 4 of us with wetsuits, 2 of us without. One funny thing though is that as I was swimming, with my right hand, my pinky felt like, it's like I couldn't close my fingers and pull. It's like I had no control of my digits, and I couldn't actually keep them together. They just kind of drifted out. Which Lynn Cox, my cold water swimming hero, that's the person who wrote that book about her swimming in Antarctica and all the other cold water swimming she did. She said she always knew when it was getting really cold because she couldn't control her fingers anymore and keep them together. So she swam in far colder water than I did. So anyway, it was a good day. We're looking forward to swimming next Sunday. And Glenn even suggested we should have at least one November swim. And I guess if it doesn't snow until November, there's going to have to be a November swim because I'm going to go out and swim in the snow. I'm going to put my camera on so you can see it. So anyway, excuse me. My throat's dry, it's scratchy. I'm going to go get a glass of water, watch a little baseball with my wife, and I will post this. So until next time, I and the deer are still dead.